Hi everyone, we are from Group 2. My name is ABNER JUWENG NAPOLEAN AS10475 and I'll be presenting role of hormones. And our group will be presenting animal hormones. So first and foremost, I will introduce my group members, which consisted of myself, ABNER, ANISYA, NURIN, and I'm Husna. So before we go further into the topic, we will look to the learning outcomes first, so we will be able to identify what we will learn throughout this topic. So first and foremost, we will be learning on how to distinguish between the mode of action of neurotransmitter and also a hormone. And the second one is identifying the major endocrine glands of the human body. And the third one will be comparing the mechanisms of action of peptide and steroid hormones. So move to the second slide. So basically animal hormones work with the assistance of two systems, which is the nervous system and the endocrine system. So here is where we can see that a lot of differences in which nervous systems involve chemical signals and endocrine system uses hormones to react to changes. So basically the nervous system here acts in detecting the changes and endocrine system reacts to the changes. So the nervous system here is responsible in transmitting information to central nervous system, also known as CNS, which is made of the brain and spinal cord. The nervous system is dependent on nerve signals conducted in axons and neurotransmitters. So here we can see that there's neurotransmitters, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a type of chemical used in chemical signalings, which is what we call the nerve signals. And now we'll move on to endocrine system. Endocrine system has glands which are divided into two: exocrine and endocrine glands. So the products of the products of the exocrine glands, they are secreted into ducts, then to lumen of other organs or outside the body. An example that we can see is the saliva. And then for endocrine glands, the products are secreted into bloodstream, then throughout the body. An example that we can see is the insulin, in which, if we see in the next slide, when the nervous system is able to detect that blood glucose is increasing, the pancreas, which is the endocrine gland, it will release insulin so that it could promote glucose uptake. And when blood glucose drops, the pancreas will release glucagon, which is a hormone that helps in promoting glycogen breakdown. So if we move to the next slide, we'll be able to see the role of the hormones. So the main role of hormones is to influence every basic homeostatic function, including metabolism, growth, reproduction, osmoregulation, and digestion. So hormones are produced not only by vertebrates but also invertebrates. Such incidents are metamorphosis in insects. The hormones are also able to be affected by evolution, in which promotes new uses to the hormones, such as in freshwater snail limnae, peptide-related insulin is involved in body and shell growth. And also thyroid hormones increase metabolism in vertebrates. So here we see hormones are used by invertebrates and also vertebrates. There's also an example of hormone that has undergone evolution to fit many different uses, such as prolactin, in which in amphibians it inhibits metamorphosis, in reptiles it stimulates skin pigmentation, in birds initiate incubation of eggs, and in mammals it stimulates milk production. So as we can see here, hormones are produced by invertebrates and vertebrates, and also can have more than just one use thanks to evolution. So if we move to the next slide, we'll be able to see the major glands of endocrine system, such as the pancreas, the thymus, thyroid and parathyroid glands, adrenal gland, pineal gland, gonads, and the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. So that is all from me. I'll pass it on to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is ANISYA binti TALHAH, AS 10294. So I'm going to present about hormones are chemical signals. Okay, now I'm going to explain about hormones are chemical signals. So when hormones release, only target cell can respond to specific hormones. The target cell carries the receptor protein that going to bind with the specific hormones. The way the receptor bind with the hormone are like key fits the lock, and after binding, the target cell will respond to the hormone. So the example of the mechanism is androgen sensitivity. This happens when individual has X and Y chromosome, which is the target cell, and the testes that remain in the body will produce sex hormone testosterone. However, body cells lack of receptors that are able to combine with the testosterone, and the individual will appear to be a normal female. If the body cell do not lack of receptor, so the female will have male characteristic. So basically, this is diagram for target cell, and you can see there are receptors carried by the target cell. So the hormone release will bind with the receptor protein, and the target cell will respond after the binding. Okay, this is the example of hormones, which is pheromones. Pheromones are chemical signals that influence the behavior of other individuals. So the hormones have been well documented in several animal species, even though their influence have been more difficult to prove in humans. So the example, women who live in the same household tend to have synchronized menstrual cycle. This is because the pheromones that are released by the woman who is menstruating will affect the menstrual cycle of other women in the same house.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURIN NADHIRAH binti AMIR HAMZAH, AS 11255, and I'm from K6. I will continue our presentation with my part, which is the action of hormones. As we all know, hormones, they brought a wide range of effects in cells. Some hormones they can induce their target cells to increase the uptake of particular molecules such as glucose or ions, while some hormones they can brought changes to their target cell structure in some way. There are two types of the action of hormones. The first one is the action of peptide hormones, which are secreted by the endocrine gland, and the second one is the action of steroid hormone, which are derived from the cholesterol. And for my part, I will only explain the action of peptide hormone. In the action of peptide hormones, I will only explain in what happened in muscle cells, in which when epinephrine, the peptide hormone, when it binds to a receptor in the plasma membrane. Okay, when epinephrine, the reception of epinephrine at the plasma membrane lead to the break of glycogen to glucose, which will produces energy for ATP production. Okay, while the immediate results of epinephrine binding is the formation of cyclic adenosine monophosphate, also known as CAMP. CAM will activate CAMs will activate protein kinase and in the cell, and that enzyme will activate another enzyme, and so forth. And these enzymatic reactions are called enzyme cascade. Why is it called enzyme cascade? Is because each enzyme can be used over and over again, and more enzymes become involved at every step of the cascade. Yeah. And finally, many molecules of glycogen will break down to glucose and will enter the bloodstream. Okay. When we look back at the action of the peptide hormone, which is epinephrine that I just explained just now, the hormone epinephrine, they never enters the cell. They are the initiator. They never enter the cell. Thus, they are called the first messengers. While the CAMP, cyclic adenosine monophosphate, they are the one who start the enzymatic reaction. Thus, they are called the second messenger. I think that's it for my part. The action of several hormones will be continued by Aini. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Husna binti Muhammad KHALID, AS 10259. I am the last presenter of this group, and I will talk about the action of steroid hormone. Okay, so for the action of steroid hormones, the steroid hormones is only produced by the adrenal cortex, the ovaries, and the testes. Steroid hormones do not bind to plasma membrane receptors, but instead, they are able to enter the cell because they are lipid. I will continue my explanation first and show you the figure later, so do not worry. So once inside, steroid hormones will bind to an internal receptor. Usually, the hormone will bind in the nucleus, but sometimes steroid hormone can also bind in the cytoplasm. So inside the nucleus, the hormone receptor complex binds with DNA and activates certain genes. Messenger RNA, which we usually call mRNA, will move to the ribosomes in the cytoplasms. And protein synthesis, for example, enzyme, will follow. So, I will show you the figure. As we can see in the figure, steroid hormone does not require any receptor to enter the plasma membrane since it is lipid soluble. So, since it does not require receptor to enter any cell of the body, it has a widespread effect. So, steroid hormone can cross, since it can cross the plasma membrane easily. The target tend to be the receptor, which is cytoplasm and nucleus. So you can see here in the figure, the hormones will bind to the receptor inside the nucleus. So once inside the nucleus, hormone receptor complex will activate gene and synthesis of a specific mRNA molecule. So the binding of hormone receptor affects the level of transcription at the other side. So as you can see here, mRNA will move to ribosome and protein synthesis occur. Okay, so untuk memudahkan lagi kita faham, saya akan bagi satu contoh analogi. So, contohnya, there's a courier ataupun pemandu lori satu company nak hantar barang masuk ke kilang. So, dia dah ada pass dan tak perlu jumpa any pegawai ataupun lakukan apa-apa things lah untuk masuk ke dalam factory tu. So, once inside the factory, pemandu lori itu akan contact the manager of the factory. So, manager factory ni akan tengok, akan pantau kilang dan akan ready untuk produce produk. So, as we can see here, the pemandu lori, the courier, is a steroid hormone. The factory is the cell. Kat sini, lori itu adalah steroid hormone, which dia ada pass dan tak perlu receptor untuk masuk ke dalam plasma membrane, which is the factory. So the manager is DNA. So again, the factory is the cell. So I think that's all from us. I hope you all can understand what we just present about our topic. Thank you.